Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. A rainy day here in Sacramento, California, as we're getting over Cinco de Mayo. I hope everybody had a fun time and a safe time yesterday. I know that I really haven't talked about my Wrestlemania trip, but honestly, one of my favorite stories from the Wrestlemania was me getting a chance to meet the Bellas. Honestly, we went to bed really, really late Saturday night. I think Saturday night is the night that we ended up going to Waterburger or whatever the heck it was, the most overrated fast food place that I've ever heard of. As we were getting ready to go to Dallas, everybody kept tweeting me, gotta go here. Ravi was getting the same thing sent to him. So, we get into the Uber cab, we ride over there, immediately get our food, and I don't think one person liked it. And Justin didn't even order the root beer shake that I was trying to get. Why I didn't get it, I don't know. Probably because I was being cheap. But it is what it is. I don't remember what time we got home, but I think I ended up getting into bed 2 hours before I had to wake up in order to go to Axxess. And basically, the alarm goes off, and immediately I'm thinking, like, what the fuck did I set an alarm for? I hit it off, and then I immediately am trying to go back to sleep. And then the lot comes into my mind, Axxess. And then I'm basically going over in my mind, you don't even really like Randy Orton that much. Maybe you should just skip Axxess. It's not the biggest deal in the world if you don't go. And then basically I started thinking about, this is the only Axxess session I'm going to. All you really have to do is put your feet on the floor. You're already moving, and then you'll be going. So I ended up getting out of bed and ended up going to Axxess. Once I got to Axxess, I immediately went into the VIP line, and I was sitting there. And basically, the way that they did the sessions this year was they told you who was going to be there, but they didn't tell you who was going to be the AM session or the PM session. So, as the doors opened to go to Axxess and they started letting the VIP people go in, I was thinking I wanted to get in line to meet Edge, who was there to be just a normal GA person, which was a steal of a deal. I mean, most of the time, if you go to meet Edge at a convention, you're going to be spending a lot of money, and in order to meet him for there, it'd be great. And so I immediately made my way all the way around Axxess. Nobody had the papers up. Nobody knew where they were going. And as I was about to make my complete circle back to the front, I heard a lot of people saying, this is where the Bellas are going to be. This is where the Bellas are going to be, which made a lot of sense because it was the E-booth. I have not had a chance to meet the Bellas in quite some time. I think it's been a few years. It was when I did that commercial video skit, whatever you want to call it, for WWE and Doritos, where I won the contest. The video is still up on the WWE's YouTube page, and I think you can still find it on the WWE website. I haven't looked for it since they redid it, but I think a lot of the pages are still there. But it honestly is one of the coolest things that I've ever done as being a wrestling fan. So I got into the Bellas line, and let me tell you this. I've gone to Axxess, I've gone to private autograph signings, I've gone to conventions, I've done everything else. I have never seen as big a buzz for wrestlers anywhere. I'm telling you that honestly, I think that almost every single person that was a VIP lined up in that line, because before they even started letting GA people into Axxess, you could tell that the people that were in line to meet the Bellas were not going to be meeting the Bellas. The line was way too long. It got to the point where it wrapped all the way out of the booth, and then it wrapped down, around, and then back to where the beginning was. It went completely through another line. I don't know who was signing on the opposite side, but there was our line cutting off their line to where people couldn't even get in line to meet the person that was on the other side of the booth. I couldn't believe it. There was a point when I can remember, the people that were working Axxess, the volunteers, with their little clipboards, saying, all right, we've counted the line. If you were behind this person, according to the way that we do the math, the people behind this line are not going to meet the Bellas. This is past the 3-hour mark. The Bellas are only going to be signing for I believe 2 hours, and you're going to miss them. And then I swear to you not, people kept on getting in line. People kept on getting in line to the point where they were making the line outside of the line wrap back and forth in an aisleway that people were supposed to be walking through to get to access, to get from one side to the other. And they didn't really have ropes, so they were basically just using the honor system that people weren't going to be cutting each other off. I was in, like Axxess has the loops. There's the stage, the line that goes in front of the stage and comes back around. I waited in my spot for almost an hour and a half. And I didn't even get up on the stage. I know there was tons of people that wanted to meet the Bellas. I had never seen anything like this. I don't know if it's just because the Bellas are two of the hottest girls in WWE. I don't know if it's because of Total Divas. I don't know if it was because of Brie was retiring and people wanted a chance to meet Brie before she walked away. I had never seen buzz like this. They had people on the left-hand side of the lines just standing there, knowing that they weren't going to meet them. They weren't even in the line. All they were there to do was stand there and look at the Bellas. Basically take pictures of the Bellas. Some people, held their kids up and yelled at Brie and Nikki, and they looked at them. And I had never experienced anything like this. Definitely, in my mind, Randy Orton was there, Seth Rollins was there, The New Day was there, Austin Aries was there. The names are getting smaller and smaller, but basically, anybody, probably other than John Cena, could have been in Axxess that day and not been more over than the Bellas were. They were little kids dressed up like them. I had never experienced something like this before. And this is where the story gets good. So I'm sitting there in my line, and I'm basically, doing the thing that you do at Axxess when you're tired. You just sort of standing there. You're looking at your phone. You're just trying to make time kill to the point where you can get to the front of the line. And I happen to look over to where the people are signing, and there's a girl that's dressed up like Brie that is sitting on her dad's shoulders. And I look over, and there are just tears coming out of her eyes. And I didn't know why, but it just hit me hard because I have kids of my own, and I don't know if maybe this family didn't really realize how Axxess worked, and maybe this girl's been looking forward to meeting Brie and Nikki for months, and here's the chance to meet them, and they're not going to get a chance to meet them because they didn't get in line fast enough, and the line's going to get capped off, and they're not going to get through. I mean, this line was so long that they got to the point where they're saying, okay, according to the stats that we have of how many people are there in line, if you are not in this line, in this spot right here, this line is going to take at least 4 to 5 hours. Axxess is only 4 to 5 hours. You're basically just going to be standing in line, and there's a good chance you're not going to meet anybody. And people were still getting in line thinking that they had a shot to meet the Bellas. So basically, where I was in line, for one reason or another, they have lots of things set up all over Axxess, but in this line was a cardboard cutout of Charlotte. And I leaned over to the dad, and I didn't ask him any questions. I just leaned in, and I just said, hey, put her down right here. And the dad sort of looked at me weird, and I leaned over again, and I just said, take her off your shoulders and put her right here. And I'm pointing behind this Charlotte thing that we're basically... some people that are around me might be able to see what's going on, but because of the fact that he's putting her down behind this cardboard cutout, there's not going to be a huge backlash of people, trying to see this. And this is probably one of the nicest things that I've ever done at Axxess. And, people get all pissed off because people cheat in the disabled line, and, people cut in line with people that they know, and, there's a good chance that there was nowhere they were ever in that line, and they're just cutting to cut to meet more people, which does aggravate me, but I will honestly say that I think I've cut once at Axxess, and it sucked. But, at the same time, you get to meet somebody, so I understand, but it's shitty. I know a lot of people that are continuous cutters that cut in every line that they're going to be in, but that's them. But, basically, he just kept looking at me weird, and I leaned in, and I said, this is your last chance. Put her down right here. No one's going to know, and it'll be all right. And he picked her up, and he put her down, and she basically stood behind the cardboard cutout for about, 30 seconds, and I said, hey, come here. And she got in line, and then her mom just started bawling out tears, and she leaned in and she grabbed my arm and she said, thank you very much, And I said, don't worry, she'll be right here and she'll be fine. And basically we went through the line, and I wanted to watch her, basically meet the Bellas more than I wanted to meet the Bellas myself. I've already done the Doritos thing with them. I met them at SummerSlam that year, days after, and basically, her getting a chance to meet Brie was my weekend. That was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. She honestly didn't really seem like she cared about Nikki that much. She looked like she was more of a Brie fan who she was dressed up to meet. She didn't even have a picture, but somebody in line slipped her one because they sort of were thinking that this was a cool moment to watch. Also, it was a moment that they were walking out for WrestleMania 31. And it ends up, because they were both on there, Brie took care of her, signed the solo picture that she had, and she also signed the other one. And I think she walked away with the Total Divas poster signed. They loved it. They even took a picture of the fact that she was dressed up like Brie. Axxess, to me, it had long lines. It was what it was. But if you find certain moments like that, I mean, that's the reason why those things are so cool, and it's the reason why they make a lot of money and make a lot of memories for a lot of wrestling fans, because where are you going to get a chance to meet Nikki and Brie just walking down the street? My experience meeting them, it wasn't the coolest experience in the world. Of course, I put myself over. I walked up there. I said I couldn't believe the fact that they had so many fans that were wanting to meet them there. I told Brie, I said, thank you very much. I said, you must have, a ton on your mind for you to come here and do Axxess for us fans who like you, to have a moment to meet you, get a picture and an autograph, with the stuff that's going on with Daniel Bryan and the stuff that's going on with your own career. If it was me, I wouldn't be here. And she just said that she would do anything for her fans. And of course, I said I was in Sacramento, and you guys did a Doritos thing with me and Dolph Ziggler and Alicia Fox. And they told me, how fun that was. And they told me that that the people inside of the company, they even remembered this to the point where they really were blown away by how good that was, and they thought that it was the best one that they did. I don't know if they would tell the same people that did it, the one with Daniel. They did another one, I think it was in Portland, with Damian Sandow. They did another one with Rob Van Dam, and I'll never forget my experience, and I'm sure the people that won in the other cities will probably think it's one of the coolest things there is too. They also did the one where they brought the person to SummerSlam, and they got to sit in the front. They took the big splash for Mark Henry, and they did that at Axxess, and I thought that was pretty cool. But meeting the Bellas is probably going to go down as one of the weirdest things to ever happen. I never thought that they would have a line like that. I can remember the year before at WrestleMania 31, Miguel and we went to the WWE Superstore, and we tried to meet the Bellas, and their line was sold out. Those are free signings. It doesn't matter. They always sort of put big names that aren't VIPs in there. This year they had Paige, they had Big Show, they had Kane, and I can't remember who else was there, but they put big names that people really want to meet out there, to get people to the store to buy things and stuff like that. But we didn't get a chance to be there. You always got to be really, really early for those things. But fun times meeting the Bellas, and you can find my Axxess video up on this channel. I think it's just called WrestleMania Axxess, meeting the Bellas at Randy Orton at WrestleMania Axxess, WrestleMania 32, something like that. But I'll see you guys down the road. Peace out, everybody.